Around 600 BC, a pagan king had a dream that terrified him so completely he couldn't sleep. He demanded his advisors tell him not just the interpretation, but the dream itself, without him describing it. If they couldn't do that, they would be executed. No one could, until a young Jewish exile named Daniel asked for time, prayed, and received the dream and its interpretation directly from God. What Nebuchadnezzar dreamed was not just a vision of his own kingdom, it was a complete panoramic map of world history, from 600 BC to the second coming of Christ. Every major empire that would dominate the earth, their rise, their fall, and the kingdom that would finally replace them all, forever. Daniel 2, the statue of world empires, what scholars call the ABC of Bible prophecy, the most foundational prophetic chapter in all of Scripture. Because once you understand Daniel 2, everything else in prophecy snaps into place. And the feet of that statue, the final kingdom before Christ returns, may be forming right now. Subscribe now and turn on the bell. New video every single day. Before the interpretation or the dream itself, because Daniel 2:31-35 describes one of the most extraordinary images in all of Scripture. Daniel 2:31, "You saw, O king, and behold a great image. This image mighty and of exceeding brightness stood before you, and its appearance was frightening. The statue had 5 sections, each made of a different material. The head, pure gold. The chest and arms, silver. The belly and thighs, bronze. The legs, iron. The feet, iron mixed with clay. As Nebuchadnezzar watched, a stone was cut out by no human hand. It struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay and broke them to pieces. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were all broken to pieces and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. The wind carried them away, and not a trace of them could be found. But the stone that struck the statue became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. 5 materials, 5 sections, 5 kingdoms, and a stone, not made by human hands, that destroys them all and fills the earth. The dream itself is breathtaking, but the interpretation, which Daniel gives in Daniel 2:36-45, is what makes this passage the ABC of all biblical prophecy. And we arrive at Daniel's interpretation, which maps the statue onto specific world empires with extraordinary precision. Daniel 2:37-38. "You, O king, are the King of kings, to whom the God of heaven has given the kingdom, the power, and the might, and the glory. You are the head of gold, Babylon, the Babylonian Empire under Nebuchadnezzar, explicitly identified. The greatest empire of its time, absolute power, absolute authority, absolute wealth. 605 BC to 539 BC. The chest and arms of silver, Medo-Persia. Daniel 2:39. After you shall arise another kingdom inferior to you. The Persian Empire conquered Babylon in 539 BC, exactly as prophesied. 2 arms, the Medes and the Persians, unified, but with the Persians dominant. 539 BC to 331 BC, the belly and thighs of bronze, Greece. Another 3rd kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. Alexander the Great conquered the Persian Empire with extraordinary speed. 331 BC to 146 BC. The legs of iron, Rome. there shall be a fourth kingdom strong as iron, for iron breaks to pieces and shatters all things. The Roman Empire, the most powerful and durable empire in Western history. 146 BC to 476 AD. And crucially, Daniel identifies two legs, representing the eastern and western divisions of the Roman Empire. The feet of iron and clay, the final kingdom. And here is where Daniel 2 becomes urgently relevant for 2026. The feet, partly strong as iron and partly brittle as clay, represent a future form of the Roman Empire. 10 toes, 10 kings, a divided coalition, strong in some ways and weak in others, that will exist when the stone strikes. And we arrive at the section of Daniel 2 that connects most directly to 2026, the feet of iron and clay. Daniel 2:41-43, the feet and toes partly of potter's clay and partly of iron. It shall be a divided kingdom, but some of the firmness of iron shall be in it. As you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, so they will mix with one another in marriage, but they will not hold together, just as iron does not mix with clay. 10 toes, 10 kings. A future coalition that has the remnants of Rome's iron strength, but is fundamentally divided, unable to hold together. The iron and clay refuse to bond. This is the kingdom that exists when the stone strikes. The kingdom of the Antichrist, the final form of Gentile world power before Christ returns. And here is what makes 2026 so prophetically significant. The revived Roman Empire, the final form of the statue's feet, has been forming for decades. The European Union, built on the geographic and institutional foundations of the Roman Empire, a coalition of strong and weak members, unable to fully unite, as Brexit demonstrated, iron that will not bond with clay. Daniel 7 expands this vision. 10 horns, representing 10 kings arising from this final form of the Roman Empire. From among them, a little horn, the Antichrist, rises and subdues 3 of the 10. The head of gold is gone, the silver is gone, the bronze is gone. The legs of iron are gone. We are living in the time of the feet. And we arrive at the most important element of the entire dream, the stone. Daniel 2:44-45. In the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, nor shall the kingdom be left to another people. It shall break in pieces all these kingdoms and bring them to an end, and it shall stand forever. Just as you saw that a stone was cut from a mountain by no human hand, and that it broke in pieces, the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold. A stone cut by no human hand, not carved by empire, not built by military force, not established through political process, cut supernaturally from the mountain of God's sovereign will, and sent to shatter every human system that has ever existed. This is the second coming of Jesus Christ, the moment when every human kingdom, Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, and whatever final coalition is forming in 2026, is swept away like chaff, and the stone becomes a great mountain filling the whole earth. This is not a metaphor for the gradual spread of Christianity. This is a specific future event, the return of Christ to establish his kingdom that fills the earth and never ends. And here is what Daniel 2 means for you right now. We are not living in the head of gold, or the chest of silver, or the belly of bronze. We are living in the feet. the final section before the stone strikes. Babylon was temporary, Persia was temporary, Greece was temporary, Rome was temporary. Everything you see around you right now, every government, every institution, every power structure is temporary. The only permanent thing is the stone. And the stone is available to you today, not at the second coming, today. The same Jesus who will shatter the statue at his return gave his life for you at his first coming. And the kingdom he is building that fills the whole earth begins with a single life surrendered to him. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. New video tomorrow. Subscribe and hit the bell. Tell us in the comments, which kingdom in the statue do you think we are closest to right now?